when they realize, oh no, people are starting to realize that smoking causes cancer and people aren't going to buy it. They took those same scientists, they went and bought a lot of these big food brands, and they're developed our food to be highly addictive. And so America doesn't know what real food tastes like. People are not cooking anymore. And most people don't realize that 75% of their diet every single day is made up of ultra processed foods that are hijacking their taste buds and driving up inflammation. And it is to blame for being exhausted all day.
Welcome to Mitlin Money Mindset, your weekly dose of inspiration and insights to ensure you enjoy each step of your journey. Whether you're saving for the future, planning your next big adventure, or simply looking to add more joy to your life, you've come to the right place. Now, let's dive in.
I'm Larry Sprung, your host for the Mitlin Money Mindset and founder and wealth advisor of Mitlin Financial. Today's guest is Jen Smiley, the founder of Wake Up and Read the Labels and an expert food coach. Jen Smiley is on a mission to empower people to take control of their health by understanding what's really in the food they eat. As the founder of Wake Up and Read the Labels, Jen has helped thousands of people make healthier choices by teaching them how to identify clean ingredients and avoid hidden additives in everyday foods. Her expertise as a food coach and her approachable style have made her a trusted guide for those looking to enhance their well-being through mindful eating. Jen's journey to clean eating began with her own health struggles, which she overcame by learning to wake up to the reality of food labeling. She now shares her knowledge widely, helping others navigate food choices and achieve lasting health transformations. Join us as we dive into Jen Smiley's journey, learn the secrets behind deciphering food labels, and discover how her insights can help you lead a healthier life. Well, I am super excited today. We have Jen Smiley with us, the founder of Wake Up and Read the Labels, an expert food coach. And this is something I am super interested in, and I think you should all be too. So, welcome to the show, Jen.
Thanks for having me on, Larry. Hopefully, our conversation today can help people wake up and read their labels and understand what's really inside of their food.
Yeah, well, I'll be sharing with you. I've certainly done that in the last couple of months. I had a little bit of an eye opener myself. So, but I don't want to. We'll save that for a little later. But
Yeah, I'm
Jen,
excited.
we're going to spend a lot of time on Wake Up and Read the Labels and your entrepreneurial venture there and what you're doing today. But before we do that, can you share with our listeners kind of, what led you up to that point? We find that the entrepreneurial journey is so unique, sometimes similar, but unique to each of us and interesting at the same time. So could you share your journey?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs, first of all. My parents dropped out of high school, got married, got pregnant at 15. They're still married 40 years later. They had my brother who also started a startup himself. He got acquired for a beautiful price. And so I was kind of helping him with his business. And I realized it's just boring. It dealt with law and it dealt with construction. And I was like, this is not my jam. Life should not be this boring. And so I started working out a lot. That's what I enjoyed. However, I was battling in my mid 20s inflammation, asthma, um, and also reflux and weight gain. And during my workouts, I'm like, wait a second, why can all these people keep up with a workout class? Why can all these people not take breaks? Why can all these people look like they fit inside of their clothes, right? Except I only have one sports bra hanging on by one hook. I only have one pair of stretchy workout pants that feel good. And so one day it dawned on me as I'm walking home, I looked at my Premier Protein shake. And I realized, okay, I'm drinking 30 grams of protein. I'm drinking 0 grams of added sugar. But when I flipped it over, I noticed all of a sudden, this is a book. I can't identify any of these ingredients. Where else are these ingredients? So I ran home and I opened my refrigerator, my pantry, and I realized, hold on, these same ingredients exist in my bread, my coffee creamers, my salad dressings, my protein. It is everywhere. So I went on this wake up mission of waking up every morning, going to grocery stores regionally, and finding foods made with real ingredients. And then I basically started posting what I'm eating online every day. I had 200 Instagram followers, and a lady walked up to me with a blank check 2 days later and said, Will you please take me grocery shopping? And that is the birth of my company.
Amazing. So it was born out of need, and it sounds like it really sounds like you had a tremendous background for being an entrepreneur because you had kind of lived it, seen it, and breathed it, just
Oh,
not
yeah.
only with your parents, but with your brother and his situation too.
For sure. And my parents actually started a corner grocery store in a lower income community back in the 80s, and they grew it to 21 locations with a full service laundromat, fast food in there, also it was a meat market. And so I understood the whole end products, right? When there's products on the end shelf. And I understood companies who come in and pay extra money to get, more space at your eye level because they want you to purchase it.
Crazy. So, I mean, I think that, more recently, at least in recent months, if not years, there's been this push to help people understand that food and health are deeply connected. What do you wish people knew about most of the food in the US?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think most people don't realize where their food is even coming from. So, we don't understand farming practices deeply matter in regards to how nutritious your food is going to be. People also don't understand that food is being designed where you just can't eat one, right? When they literally say, "Oh, you're going to want more than one. You're not going to be able to stop eating." Like that's actually true. This they have scientists out there that are making our foods addictive. Back when it was the cigarette, time, I forget, Morrison, what is it?
Right. Philip Morris,
There you go, Philip Morris.
right?
They when they realized, "Oh, no, people are starting to realize that smoking causes cancer and people aren't gonna buy it," they took those same scientists, they went and bought a lot of these big food brands, and they're developed our food to be highly addictive, and so America doesn't know what real food tastes like. People are not cooking anymore. And most people don't realize that 75% of their diet every single day is made up of ultra processed foods that are hijacking their taste buds and driving up inflammation. And it is to blame for being exhausted all day. Now, another thing is food and health are not connected. And what I mean by that is you're probably going to your doctor and saying, "I'm fatigued, I'm losing my hair, right? I can't sleep at night." Whatever your symptoms are, and your doctor probably takes your labs and says, "Oh, everything looks perfectly fine," and you leave with a piece of paper that might tell you exercise more and diet. But the issue is doctors, they're there to treat symptoms, right? And we do need them, but they're not educated on food. So our healthcare is going up, obesity rates are going up, and 66% of consumers are starting to recognize the link between their inner health and their appearance. So they're starting to care.
So, is it that, you said that food does not generate health? Is that what you said? I don't want to put in the, what
No, 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 no. Food is health, right? You are what you eat. I tell people like I breastfed both my kids when I was a young mother, and they make these little strips that you can put into your breast milk to detect if there's any alcohol, if you've had a glass of wine, or if you've had a cocktail or a beer. And so what that goes to show you is what mama's drinking is going in mama's milk, right? So what the cows are eating and what the cows are drinking, what your chickens are eating, what your bacon your pigs are eating, it's going into the food you're consuming and it's causing havoc on your body. It's either helping you or it's hurting you.
that's probably the root cause of a lot of these conditions that are being, talked about and bantered about, and really the solution, not necessarily medications in some case, just maybe even changing diet in cases can be hugely beneficial. So, you talked about, how you started and launched just wake up and read the labels came to be. Somebody approached you, you were kind of going through this life, and they wanted to help they wanted you to help them with going food shopping, right? And picking out the right food. So, how has that situation and the launching of the company changed to what you're doing today? If you could share a little bit about kind of where you went from that point to what you're doing today.
So it started off with me going to FedEx and just typing on a Google Doc, here's the oils to avoid, here's the oils to shop for, here's the sweeteners to avoid, here's the sweeteners to shop for, etc. I made basically like a product swap sheet. And then I laminated it. I would go to their house, I would open all their pantries and just pull out everything that had inflammatory ingredients. And I said, listen, we can donate this, we can gift this to a friend, we can ask a neighbor if this would, help them throughout their week, but this is something we want to avoid. Then I took them grocery shopping. And then within the next 3 months, I had about 60 private clients just from my gym. We're talking women ages 45 to 65, and they're all coming to me. So I started developing groups. And every week I would jump on a coaching call and just tell them, like, all right, you guys, here's a meal plan. Here's what you're going to go grocery shopping for. Text me if you have any questions. I did that for probably about 1 year. And then my husband, who owns a law firm, had a business manager that worked for him for 10 years. She sat down with an Excel sheet and she's like, listen, you're changing lives, but you're so stressed and you have no time for your family anymore. You need to figure out how to scale this. And so I stepped back and she showed me on an Excel sheet how much money I was actually making per hour. And it wasn't enough for me to sustain it and keep going and keep up with my marriage and keep up being a mother and all these things. So then they explained to me that I could develop an online course. So I did that. I sat there for about 6 months with an assistant, a recording studio, and also some editors. And I created 100 video course with snack guides in it, meal plans, how to read menus when you go out to eat, how to get the family on board, how to eat clean, what to start with, how to burn fat, all these things. And I've sold to date a couple $1 million of my online course, Cleaning and Academy. And then I said, okay, everybody can't afford this high end course, right? Or they might not want to go through it.
Right.
So I actually developed something called the label letter, and it's a subscription. It's like $35 a year. And basically, every Saturday, you get one recipe with all of the product swaps shown to you every single week delivered to your inbox. And I'm also developing an app right now where you can go to the grocery store, scan the product, and see if it's high risk ingredients, limited risk, or risk free.
That's great stuff, and I could see how that stuff would be super helpful, right? Because the hardest thing is when you're there in the moment, making sure that you're buying the right stuff or the stuff that's gonna be benefiting your body and not, hindering
Yep.
it. Why is it so important to skip past a lot of the buzzwords on the front of packages, right? And actually read
Oh,
the
yeah.
labels because packaging says a lot of stuff. I don't know if all of it is actually accurate when you start looking at the labels, but why is it so important to kind of disregard that and actually go right to the label?
Well, Larry, a lot of it's greenwashing. For example, okay, when you read cholesterol free, no additives, no artificial flavors, sugar free, it's always telling you what's not inside of the product. It is never advertising on the front what is actually inside the product. It looks way better to say 90 calories than it does to say 30 ingredients. Do you agree?
Sure, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Okay. So let's bring up the fact that Cheerios says may help reduce cholesterol. Okay. No one realizes that Cheerios is made with whole grain oats. Then you've got cornstarch, you've got sugar, you got salt, you got tripotassium phosphate, then you got vitamins and minerals. Now, hold on, those are fortified vitamins and minerals. 50% of the population can't even metabolize these artificial fortified minerals and vitamins. Why are they putting that in there? They're putting it in there because it's dead food, literally. It's been stripped of all its fiber, it's been stripped of all of its nutrients. So they got to put fake stuff back in there. And then you've got some preservatives. Now, here's the issue with Cheerios that most people don't know: these oats have been shown on studies to contain the highest amount of glyphosate, which is a pesticide known as Roundup that we spray on our weeds outside, right? Highest amount. Studies also show consumption of these pesticides, known as glyphosate, has been shown to increase risk of cancer, has been shown to increase risk of autoimmune, has been shown to promote inflammation, has been shown to cater to ADHD. So, what's going on today? We have modern day diseases. These diseases we have today children having adult diseases, obesity, inflammation, right? All these things didn't really exist at the rates they do 100 years ago. And this pesticide is being sprayed on everything. So even though your box says may help reduce cholesterol, you guys, you're eating glyphosate, you're eating poison. And another thing is, if you just eat all real foods and you eat anti inflammatory things without that pesticide, that's going to naturally help lower your cholesterol.
Right.
Don't look at these foods as, oh, this is my ticket. I can eat whatever I want throughout the day, but this is going to help lower my cholesterol.
Yeah, definitely some ideal reasons why you have to read the label and not just the front of the package. Now, I heard when you first started eating this way, your family thought you were freaks, but then there was a pivotal moment that changed your family's mind. Can you share that story with our listeners?
Yeah, I remember us going to Thanksgiving. Once we figured out, my husband and I, the labels, we're doing it together because he wanted to run faster. He's a runner. And I just wanted to lose weight. I was like, why am I so heavy at 25? So once we figured out the labels and we got all the swaps, we realized, oh my gosh, we can eat pasta and we wake up the next morning, our stomachs are flat. We can eat crackers and we don't have reflux after, things like that. And so Thanksgiving rolls around and I show up with spinach and artichoke dip made with real ingredients. I'm talking about my cheese sauce is made from soaked raw cashews. It's made from nutritional yeast. It's got real garlic in it, things like that. And then we bring a bag of chips, and it was actually siete. It's made with almond flour. It has no preservatives, no added sugar, all real ingredients. And the family looks at it and they're like, why are your chips like not Tostitos,
Right.
right? They're all confused. And we're looking around going, everyone is inflamed here. We love you guys, but like everybody needs to take a nap after. Everybody is exhausted. Everybody's complaining they're so full, their stomach hurts, and they're on this quest of a diet, right? And so we're looking at them, they're looking at us, and we're like, how are we the freaks? We feel good after we eat. Our food, they even said, wow, the food tastes better, but what is this stuff, right? And they finally flipped the switch when I started wake up and read the labels and they saw the testimonials roll in from other people and they thought, wait a second, it's not just working for Jen and Seth. It's actually working for a lot of people. And so they got on board.
Well, at least they saw the light, so to speak, and that's all good stuff. I mean, I know, and I've kind of experienced this by traveling to Canada, where they have a lot more stricter laws and rules around their food.
Regulations.
It
Yep.
just it tastes different. Like we brought one of my boys, and he had Chipotle in Canada versus even Chipotle here, and he said it tasted so much different, so much better. So I think you're on to something. Now, if I'm listening and I have a family and I'm like, hey, this is resonating with me, I wish I could or knew how to find cleaner food for my family. How can people go about doing that? How can they assure that what they're buying, are there some simple takeaways we can give them that will allow them to find cleaner food for them and their family?
Absolutely. There's something so easy to start with for everyone. First of all, you have to start reading your labels. So flip it over. You might even need a magnifying glass because they're so
Yeah.
tiny. You might need your readers, things like that, a flashlight. But start to read the labels. And if you see any of these oils that I'm about to mention, you automatically put it out. And what I mean by that is most products always have an oil in it. So it's an easy test to detect whether something is inflammatory or not. So here we go. Sunflower oil, yes, your skinny pop. Canola oil, yes, the oil right next to your stovetop in the clear container. It's awful, it's inflammation. Also, rice bran oil. You've got safflower oil is another one. Vegetable oil is another one. And so what these are seed oils, okay? Corn oil, cottonseed oil, and all of these are highly processed and they use high heat to extract the oil from the plant. Now, all of these have super high omega 6 levels in it. We want really high omega 3s. Omega 3s is the Mediterranean diet, right? It exists in salmon, it exists in fish, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. Those are the oils you want to start buying and you want to start finding inside of your products.
Imagine a relationship where financial conversations don't feel stressful, but actually bring you joy. We've designed a guide to help you have positive, meaningful money conversations with your partner. This isn't just another budgeting tool, it's a roadmap for building trust and connection. So if you're ready to start a joyful money journey with your partner, go to mitlin.us/couplesjoy and download your free guide. Transform your financial future together starting today. Well, Jen, thank you so much for those, great insights around oils, and let's talk about that. Let's expand it a little bit more beyond oils, right? Because that knocks out about, like you said, 90% of foods. Are there two or three additional ingredients that kind of even make a greater impact beyond the oils that we could keep an eye out for? And if we see those in our foods, know right away that's something we should eliminate.
Yeah, this one's gonna shock people because a lot of us are starting our morning off with this, but let's say oats. That's right. I tell people what happens to oats when you put them in water? They expand, so it makes you bloated. Okay. Oats, first of all, oats are sprayed with that pesticide, glyphosate. So if you're gonna buy oats, you gotta make sure it's organic and you wanna make sure that it is glyphosate free. There is a brand out there called 1 Degree Farmers that is clean, it's organic, it's glyphosate free. However, oats are high in omega 6s, which is what I just told you guys promotes inflammation. It's also high glycemic. So you're actually better off eating a bowl of ice cream made from a grass fed cow that has real nutrients and going for a walk after than you are starting your morning off with the oats. Now, most people are like, Jen, I can't give up my oats. I'm telling you, give up the oats for 5 days and send me a message and let me know how you feel. 99.99% of people have reported, actually, I'm gonna go with 100% because I've never heard otherwise, reported that they felt less bloated and they felt better. That's number one. Number two is wheat gluten. So I'm talking about your Dave's Killer Bread. I'm talking about your Ezekiel. I'm going there. A lot of the wheat out there is sprayed with the glyphosate as well. So you got to make sure it's organic. But the other thing is, wheat is again high glycemic and it does have those omega 6s. And a lot of times it has the fortified vitamins in it. And it has usually sugar with it because they're removing all the fiber and the nutrients from it during its processing.
It's such a mind trick, right? Because fortified vitamins sounds like, hey, that's a good thing, right? I'm fortified vitamins,
Hmm.
but it's actually
Tricky.
not a good thing. And one of the things that I realized personally, and I'll share this story now, was every morning I make a shake, and it's all fruits and vegetables, organic. That's it. And I thought I was doing it healthy by adding almond milk to it until I started reading the label of my almond milk, and it was like 4, 5, 6 lines long. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I ended up basically shifting to what's actually a real almond milk, where it's three ingredients: it's almonds, water, and salt. That's it.
That's how real food should be across the
I
board.
got tricked. I was like, "Oh, almond milk. I'm eating this shake healthy," and everything else about the shake was and is healthy, but I was really tainting that by simply putting in that almond milk, in there that I thought was good. And one of the things that Shark Tank has brought to light is that, and you mentioned it earlier, is that consumer brands can pay to be on the shelves at eye level. You mentioned that earlier. How can people locate the brands and the products that don't have the inflammatory ingredients, artificial ingredients, and preservatives, with knowing that those bad ones are going to probably be at eye level for us? How do we find those other ones?
Yeah, so I tell people if you see the world doing it, it's probably not a good thing, right? So your LaCroix, your Oatly, your Dave's Killer Bread, the things on the end shelf, those are the companies that are driving down their cost in production, in their ingredients, and they're spending their money on their marketing. So when you do see a product that has a ton of stock, meaning, it's got 5 columns or it's got 5 rows and it's center and it's the cheapest one, well, just look down. Look at the bottom. You might see an almond milk that only has 1 row that you've never heard of. Go ahead and pick that one up and see what it is. All of the clean breads are in the freezer at your grocery store. One of them is being Pasha, Pasha, It's made with two simple ingredients: organic sprouted buckwheat and sea salt, and that is it.
Amazing.
So you gotta look in a place that you're not usually looking.
So you actually have to do some work. But I mean, once you find it,
Yep.
typically though they're in this, in the same place, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. You become a label reader yourself.
Yeah, and I've run into situations where I'm finding that these things that are healthier for you, that they're not in the cases sometimes as often as you like either they're selling out, or I think in some instances the supermarkets are not putting out as many of them, even though they may have them in the back to make it look like it's scarcer so that it's harder to find. I don't know if there's any truth to that, or if you've experienced something similar.
I wouldn't say that they are hiding it to make it scarce. I'm not sure about that. But I do know if you do not see the product that you would like there, you can go to your grocery store and fill out a request for order form, because a lot of the grocery stores do want to carry products that their customers want. So you can fill out a form that says, oh, I'd love to get 3 trees almond milk. And they'll bring it in and they'll see if it sells. And if it does, they'll keep it. A lot of these brands, though, I personally am friends with, and they just cannot compete at the grocery store with the prices. By the time they ship it there, and they have to pay so many different companies, or so many different tiers, I guess, to get the product to the consumer. So a lot of these cleaner brands are doing direct to consumer, where they can keep their costs affordable for a customer by getting it directly off their websites.
Let's talk about cost for a second, because I think there's this perception, and I don't know if it's perception or reality, that to eat this way that you're describing is significantly more expensive than eating I guess the poor way, or the bad for you way. Is that truth or fiction?
I tell people you either pay the farmer or you pay the pharmacy.
Good point.
Somewhere your money is being spent. I understand when you go to the grocery store and you're looking at grass-fed and finished meat, and you're looking at real almond milk made with three simple ingredients. They're each going to be, say, $2, $3 more expensive than the alternative that you have been using. However, when you start to eat clean, all of my clients always report they're eating like 50% less food, less times. They no longer need their second cup of coffee. They no longer need three snacks from the day. They no longer are looking for, those energy drinks. They no longer are taking time off of work. They're no longer making as many doctor appointments. So these are all the ways you're actually going to save money, and you're going to be healthier. You're going to be happier. Your relationships are going to blossom. You're going to do better at work and get promotions and make more money. So it's this little dynamic shift of a mindset that maybe your grocery bill is $50 more per week, but you're saving money on medications, you're saving money not missing work, and you're saving money not going to the doctor.
Yeah, I think those are good points. And you brought that up about your relationships, and as somebody who also works with their spouse, right? Because I my wife is our director of marketing for our practice.
That's beautiful. And I see you must really, really like her because you have
I
photos of her in
do.
the
Actually, we're
background.
recording this on our 24th wedding anniversary, so that
Oh, happy anniversary. So exciting.
thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. So, what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs who are growing a business that might be, a right situation for their spouse to step into as well?
It's a great question. I actually talked to my husband about this right before we record. I was like, "What should I say?" He comes out of the room. He's like, "You need to make sure that you say one of the two people have to be patient." And I was like, "You're right. He is the more patient one." Another thing I think, well, I have two more things. One is, you have a quarterly meeting and you have an annual meeting to kind of assess your business and make goals. I think that's super important for your marriage, because when you're working together, it's kind of hard to turn off the switch at night or outside of work hours and not talk about it. So finding time to just escape from your everyday duties, both business and family, and just going work on your relationship together to rekindle your love, to really take notice of why do we even like each other and why are we still together. You notice those things. It's this big
Sure.
reset, with no distractions. And then I think the last thing that's super important is you both have to like live and breathe whatever the heck you're doing, meaning you both have to enjoy it. It has to be a part of your life. You can't just create something that you don't naturally or normally do. And so this works for us because my husband and I have been eating clean for over 10 years. We teach our kids to eat clean. Everybody eats every single day, multiple times a day. And so we truly are living and breathing it every day, and it works.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, we've hit on a lot of important things that we try to cover here, on the Mitlin Money Mindset, and they're all rooted in joy. And, you said you have to enjoy what you do. But, we ask each of our guests the same final question, which is, what did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success?
Oh, yeah. Waking up on time is one thing right before the kids. And I do make their lunch every day. I do make their breakfast every day. So I made their smoothie. And because we can all wake up at a decent time and we don't have the we have the luxury of being able to take our time in the morning, my husband and I. So we sit on our porch in the morning at four little, chairs around the table, and everybody drinks their coffee or their smoothie, and we just sit around and watch our dogs run up and down the stairs, watch the birds, watch the squirrels, and just talk about like, all right, what sports do we have today? How was your night's rest? What do you need to get done this week? And it's just a way for us all to be together, and it truly nothing else brings me more joy.
Awesome. Sounds like a great way to start each and every day. And,
Mhm.
Jen, we're going to have all of your information in the show notes,
Yeah.
including, how to look up and learn more about Wake Up and Read the Labels and your expert coaching. But if people want to learn more about you, connect with you, learn more about eating clean and healthy, what's the easiest and the best way for them to do that?
Yep, you can either go to thelabelletter.com and get our label letter delivered to your inbox every week with a clean recipe and clean swaps. You can also download our app called Read the Labels app in the App Store.
Well, thank you for sharing that. We appreciate you taking out time for sharing this with us. I hope our listeners take it to heart and start implementing it. I have done a lot of this over the last couple of months and appreciate the content and the information you're putting out there. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Larry. So great talking to you. Everybody, just remember to wake up, read the labels so you can eat simple and feel good.
I want to thank Jen Smiley for being a guest on the Mitlin Money Mindset. Reading the book Good Energy really was an eye opener for me in terms of how we are poisoning ourselves with the food we eat every day. Jen and her content has been extremely helpful in realizing even food promoted to be healthy may not. She has helped direct me to a better way of eating and ultimately helping me be truly more healthy than I ever was. Jen Smiley and Wake Up and Read the Labels can be found across most social media platforms. All the contact information needed to find them can be found in the show notes.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Mitlin Money Mindset. Remember, it's not just about the money, it's finding joy in the journey and embracing the right mindset. If you love the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Don't forget to follow along for more tips and inspiration. Please visit the social links below to connect with Larry or his guests. Until next time, keep smiling, keep thriving, and remember to think about, what did you do today that brought you joy?
The opinions voiced in the Mitlin Money Mindset Show with Lawrence Sprung are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy ensures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Guests on the Mitlin Money Mindset Show are not affiliated with CWM LLC.